to the wisdom flow. Revenue ramp, let's go, let's go. Let's go, let's go.
Hey everyone, welcome to Revrag TV Podcast. I'm your host Ashutosh, and today we have an exciting episode featuring an entrepreneur who is reimagining the way sales education is delivered in India. Joining us is Simar Sekhri, and he is the co-founder of Hive School, a new age sales school aiming to equip students with all the skills needed to be in B2B and tech sales, right? So Simar is a seeker who's constantly learning and unlearning. He's like ventured into edtech space, built product, faced challenges at the GTM stage, and owned his craft, and basically is now making impactful decisions while making people learn more about sales, right? So Simar, welcome to the podcast, and it would be great if you can basically give a brief about yourself so that people know you.
Thanks, Ashutosh. I think that was a lovely introduction. Never good with hearing the praise words myself. But anyway, so hey guys, welcome to the podcast. I'm Simar Sekhri. I'm one of the founders at Hive School. I head marketing at Hive School, but as if you're a founder, you have to be in everything, be it deciding the curriculum, student experience, strategy, growth, finances, be it everything. So yeah, that's about me, and really excited to be here today, Ashutosh.
Thanks for that, Simar. So we'll start from your journey, Simar, right? If you can also tell us about like from where did you study, right? And how was your childhood overall? Where did you spend your childhood? And we can like then start covering from there.
So I hail from Delhi itself, and mine is a typical Punjabi family that I hail from. So my childhood was pretty fun. Punjabi families are pretty good. So that's about my childhood. And I did my graduation after my schooling. I did my graduation in Bachelor of Management Studies from Delhi University itself, and then I proceeded to build my own ventures. So firstly, I started with building a creativity school, which goes by the name of Simon. So what we were trying to do here was that we strongly believed that the concept of creativity in India is not very explored. What I mean when I'm saying this is, for example, let's talk about sales. So in sales, what we believe is that if you are creative enough, for example, if I give you a problem statement like Ashutosh, you have to get a meeting with XYZ company now, and you failed at your first attempt. But how
Mm.
can you make sure that you will still strive and go get that meeting? For example, if I talk about like Zomato has a challenge that they have to increase their revenue, and I give you this problem statement. How can you be creative about it and solve it? The Paytm soundbox. Have you seen those Paytm sound boxes put at
Yep.
many Kirana stores? So that was an idea produced by someone who was sitting at the board. Let's have a sound box which just says like Paytm pe 100 rupees prapt hue. And that bought in, I'm not sure about the numbers, but I think about 100 odd crores for the company just
Mhm.
by a simple creative idea. So the school was focused on embedding creativity into young students and into the college students. That went on for around an year, almost an year. We made, I would not say decent money, but it was a hit and try attempt. But yeah, that gave me a lot of learnings about how the education space in India works. And then, yeah,
Mhm.
then I met Nikhil in one of the companies I worked where I was helping the marketing team, and then I met Nikhil over there. He was heading placements. Then after a while, I saw Nikhil LinkedIn post said that, hey, I'm building something called Hive School. Then I just
Mhm.
randomly texted Nikhil over Instagram. I still remember that message that, hey, Nikhil, this sounds exciting. Let's talk. And then he said, come over to the office and we will have a chat. And now here we are building Hive School, what we like to call as India's first sales school.
Great. Yeah, I think as you said, creativity in students, and even like if when I started my career, right, being at a college is different, going to work in a company is different, and you need ways to basically be creative and deliver results, right? So I think you are on point there. You started or like you joined Nikhil in high school, like not many years after the college, right? just kind of finishing school and college. So, what inspired you to basically actually joining Hive School, building the sales school, and why sales? Have you done sales overall, or like, are you excited about sales? What part made you take a decision? Okay, this is something that I want to do.
Got it. So I will start, by answering like what made me join high school. So Ashutosh, you know that there are kids in school and college who sit at the back bench and wonder like, is this even it for me? Like, is the system good enough for me? Or like, what if I don't score a 99 percentile? Does that mean I'm a loser? Does that mean, I will never be able to make it to the top companies, to the top positions? I thought, there are a lot of students like me. So I wanted to create a space for all of them. That is where the decision came to build something in education, to create a system that has a lot of impact as well, that give people good jobs, that help people, create wealth for themselves. And I was one such kid who thought, let's build something in education. So step one, it was clear, like we have to build something in education. Then we decided, like, let's look at the Indian landscape. Let's talk about business or startups. There were many competitors there. The market was already evolving, from the legacy colleges like IMABC, then there was ISB, Masters Union, Mesa School of Business, the new age colleges have started coming up. Then we thought, let's see marketing. In marketing also there were many new age colleges coming up. For example, there is one called Lit School. I'm not sure if you have heard about it, but it's a creator marketer school in Bangalore, and many more are popping up. Then we thought, for tech also there are many different institutes, right from school to college students and even graduates to get them upskilled. But when we decided that sales is such a huge, wide, empty landscape, there
Mm,
were some colleges, there were some schools, but we thought, there is still space to make something big here. So then we
mm,
boiled down on sales. And if I talk about me personally, my connection with sales, I was that one kid who hated sales. Now, for you, it might sound a bit funny for everyone, like a guy who hates sales, why he's building a sales school. I think, Ashutosh, I'm the perfect example of why I should build sales school. Because if you talk about young students, sales has a very conventional image ingrained into them. I'm not sure if it's Bollywood movies or Hollywood movies, when I say a salesperson to a 20, 22, to a 23-year-old guy or a girl, what's the one image that pops into your brain? A guy standing with a proper, tie, a suit at your door, selling you something. That's what the industry has made us believe. But sales is
mm,
so much more than that. It's not just cold calls. It's not
mm,
just credit card insurance, or it's not just about health insurance or credit cards anymore. It's so much more. Salespeople actually bring in revenue for the company. Salespeople are the guys and girls who work at the forefront. You could build a great product, but if people don't know about you, there is no use after all.
mm,
So then I thought, man, the kind of wealth that one can create in sales is absolutely unimaginable. In my past 1 year, I have talked to over 100 sales leaders, in mixers, while hosting podcasts, while, talking them and researching about what curriculum should we have. Talked to many people. The one thing that they say is that sales as an industry is very rewarding if you are good. There are
mm,
guys who are just 25 years old and they have
mm,
built so much wealth for themselves. I
mm.
would love to share some more stories as well as we proceed down the conversation, but this is what got me really excited, that students don't even have basic awareness. They don't even
Mm,
know what SaaS or tech sales mean. So
mm,
then I decided, let's take it. Someone has to do it. Let's make sales sexy. And then we also had our tagline, making sales sexy. That comes from this fact, like sales is a very sexy career to be in, and you should at
mm,
least explore and delve and upskill yourself in sales. Even if you are a founder, everyone, Ashutosh, around you is doing sales. Be it a CEO, be it a founder, be it your mother negotiating to someone. It could be anyone. We have been doing this our entire life. So sales is the
mm.
most fundamental skill required to run a business.
Makes sense, makes sense. So, And you were a student, right? While you were a student, did you start anything else, like while you were actually studying, or you, after college, you directly jumped into entrepreneurship? And I would also like to, because some people, what they do is they go and take a job and then probably start a startup, right? But you directly went into building something, which is not that rare, but yeah, still like a
Mhm.
less percentage, right? So how was the transition overall from student to directly into an entrepreneur?
I think it was very fun, Ashutosh, in hindsight. I believe that every student should build something of their own while they are in college, while they are graduating. You should either build something of your own or build with someone as a founder's office intern or a founder's office employee where you closely monitor the growth, where you have the freedom to do whatever you want to. You can take any such initiative what you want. I knew that I always wanted to be in a position where I'm creating something, where I'm creating a lot of impact, and in a place where I have the freedom to do what I want. If I want to start a podcast today, I can do that. If I want to, let's say have very big founders and create some docu-series for them or create another curriculum for my students, make it more exciting, have another layers of boot camps, another layers of sprints, another layers of challenges for them. I have the freedom to do that. So that concept intrigued me. The overall concept intrigued me very much that, I get to build something of my own. That was one. Now let's talk about the transition phase as well. I think I was very lucky in getting good people and I was very lucky in getting to talk to good people. That is very, very important while you are building something. The best learnings that has happened to me are from the conversations I get to do. For example, Anupreet, who's the CRO at Gan.ai, he's one of the advisors to us and he's also on the board member. He's such a wonderful guy and I get to have a lot of conversations with him. He gives us ideas, how the entire sales industry is structured, what are the upcoming trends that are coming in, and from him I get insights, like I can get do this, I can do this. And then I also talk to a lot of founders who are building in education. If I was not building something, I wouldn't have gotten the chance to have that conversation. While talking to them, I get to explore like how can I scale this business from let's say 10 cr to 100 cr. And we are also training our students to do that also. That how you can help founders scale their companies from let's say 0 to 10 and then from 10 to hundreds of crores and even more.
Makes sense. You saw this kind of an opportunity as well. It is kind of an opportunity. And but when you started interacting with these students, right?
Mhm.
What gaps do you think our current traditional education also has, even in the industry? Like, what gaps have you seen while training these students at Hive School? How are you guys actually equipping them to basically sell better? How do you identify the gaps? And even like talking about a little bit about the education system, right? What gaps did you see?
Sure. So let me take you a bit back, while high school was starting. So I will tell you through the journey, like why we figured out this was a problem and let's solve it. The very reason why high school exists is because this gap exists. And what happened was we got to talk to a lot of recruiters. And recently also we had in Bangalore, while we were in Bangalore, we had a conversation with Prakhar from Whatfix. He mentioned that 4 to 6 months of their time, once an employee onboarding is done, they spend at least 4 to 5 months training that person according to what fix specific requirements and basically learn on the job what happens during their initial journey. So if you talk about the larger scheme of things, every company in India or globally in SaaS specifically is spending around 3 to 6 months in just training these students. Can you imagine like how much time is being wasted, how much company payroll is being exhausted, and what the loss of productivity is happening? First was this. Second, what we realized was that the current schools and the current ecosystem is training the salespeople, training sales folks just to be better at, let's say, doing outbound or like how can you write better emails? How can you make it more personalized? How can you structure better sequences? But we thought, let's give them an overall understanding of the landscape as well. We want, like, everyone who is coming into the ecosystem, how can they be in a position of leadership? Let's say a sales leader, a CRO, managing revenue pipelines, managing P&L functions very carefully. So that is why we also included, let's teach everyone the GTM function of the business. It may not be directly relevant to a salesperson to do their day-to-day job. For that, you require those fundamental skills itself, which we talked about. But you need these skills to understand. We talked about creativity, right? So you need these skills, you need the understanding of the entire ecosystem, of the entire landscape to actually go kill it out there, to be in that top 1%. So
Makes sense.
this was a very wide industry gap if I talk sales specifically. Overall, if I tell you about the lacks in education system and everything, I think it's pretty clear. There is a lot of articles out there, a lot of theory available if you scram through books or articles, that the system is not equipped with industry. It is very good, in certain terms. It gives you a lot of exposure, it gives you the community vibe, and it helps you grow as a person, but the industry relevant skills are not there. So yeah, that's about the overall education system. I hope
No, no,
that
makes
helps.
sense. Makes sense. Yeah. And so how do you identify and basically bring people to your, like, are you tying up with colleges and then from there you're helping? So like, what's the funnel for you? Because if let's say are you going after students who are graduated, post graduation, or like it's during the graduation? So this is one question that I have in my mind.
Sure. So basically, it works like everyone who has, just fresh out of college, maybe have some internship experiences. That's a plus point. And then from 0 to 4, 5 years of work experience is our ideal ICP. And if this is first step, then we also check the learning intent. That if how's the learning intent of the students? Are they just coming here to to crack a good placement? Obviously, that's one of the very big North Star metrics that a lot of students chase, but it should also be that they are very curious beings. They are curious to talk to people, they're curious to learn, they're curious to solve problems. So we also check that. We also, like, do you also want me to go through the funnel, like how it works? I'm not
No, no,
sure
I
if
think
I'm
that,
able.
yeah, yeah, that won't be relevant. But I just wanted to understand, like, from where actually, which
Sure.
part of career they are in, and then basically they are joining you. So that
So
was the
it's like
one question.
0 to 4 years of experience, and currently it's a online hybrid program. So most our classes happen on weekends, and most of the people, like 50% to 60% of the batch, do it alongside their jobs to upskill themselves. Or there are people from, let's say, B2C roles who want to crack into B2B SaaS roles. So that is one ICP, and people who are looking to upstart their journey in sales. That is why we call it a launchpad program, like launchpad into sales.
Makes sense, makes sense. So what are like top lessons that you have got? Because you have been doing this for a year or two now, I guess, right? Uh, and what are some top learnings that you were able to get during the year? If let's say we wrap your 2024, right? So what is something that actually comes straight to your mind in 2024? What were some learnings and wins that were there?
Okay, so that's a difficult one, but a very good one. So, sure. So, first point I think would be 100%, like how to be a problem solver. That is super, super important. The buck stops with you. And, I honestly believe that if all of us has that ingredient to us now, that, we have to solve a problem. There is something on board, you have constraints. Someday you won't have enough money to solve it. Some days you won't have enough bandwidth or manpower to solve for it, but you have to solve it. So I think being a problem solver is one thing, which is a very, very big lesson for me. I completely, tell my team every day that be a problem solver, heads down and just solve the problem. Whatever it is, how hard it is, how easy it is, how much hours it will take, we have to just solve it. There's no other simple way to put it. You have to do that yourself, and in the entire team. So that is one of the biggest learnings, like how to be a problem solver. And the kind of problems that you face, Ashutosh, in an education business are absolutely, some days something as small as, like something goes off in operation side, student experience or anything like that, then there is something as big as one of our cohort members, lost their immediate family member in cohort. So it was very, very difficult for them to concentrate and focus on classes. This was one problem we never thought that this can also pop in. But we also solved for that, and the person also cracked our first US based role offer. He's shifting to US next year, and then he also got a very good package. I think the second highest package in that cohort. So we were very happy. His win felt like a personal win for all of us. Then I think second learning would be talk and talk and talk. Have good conversations. That is super, super important for everyone. Whether you are a student, whether you are a founder, whether you are heading a team, talk to fellow founders, talk to people who are into your field, and talk to people who are already there where you want to be in the next 5 years. I think that is super important. The kind of learnings that I have got from talking to people who have built businesses, the kind of learnings that I got from talking to people who have sold their companies and are already on the next stint are absolutely amazing. No podcast, no books, no articles can give you that kind of learnings or insights. It's always
Mm,
like people who listen to podcasts. I think it's always a very good curiosity starter, and it gets you part of those conversations. But you also need to start having those conversations yourself. I randomly reach out to anyone who I found interesting on LinkedIn, and let's say, let's catch up, let's explore some mutual synergies, let's work together. One of the best learnings, the best insights that I have got from them, we try to implement them as soon as possible, and that has helped a lot. And I think third learning, what I have realized is startups have immense potential to create an impact. You
mm,
can't imagine, for example, me being from Delhi University, a young kid. Now I myself, sometimes do sessions in my college as a alum or in many other colleges. So then I try to teach them and create an actual impact. People get inspired to be in sales, which they didn't even thought, could be a good career option. So I think
mm.
startups have a lot of potential, and I hope more and more startups come up. So yeah, these are my two, three learnings. I hope that
Very
helps.
nice. No, no, absolutely. I think you went into a greater details. Thanks for that. Uh, it is actually so. I think problem solving is on point, man. Even when we hire, we see if you are a problem solver or not, right? And even the second point that you said, talk to a lot of people. I actually do that whenever I even hit a wall, right? So if there is something that I'm not able to solve,
Hmm.
then also I go to talk to people, a lot of people. It also helps me solve problems, right? So
Hmm.
I think that is one way to solve problem as well. So if you are
I
a,
think,
uh,
yeah,
yeah, go ahead, sorry.
I think Ashutosh, that sometimes you are very stuck into your processes, and you knowingly or unknowingly form a bubble around you, and you need to step out, talk to people to break that bubble for you. For example, we were set on a, let's say, like we are planning to go offline very soon. So we were set on a strategy, like we will use this to crack the offline GTM. But then we talked to a lot of people who are specifically into the education space, who have already cracked it. And then we got so much perspectives, and obviously, it always helps, and you are bound to get at least one or two very good practical learnings that you can implement in your business from day one. I think podcasts are also, by the way, a great way to do that, listening to podcasts, doing podcasts. So yeah.
No, no, absolutely. I think talking to people opens up your world to a greater possibilities of sort, right? You learn a lot of things. Absolutely. Now that sales is evolving, we are getting AI into it, and a lot of things have changed recently, right? From what it was in 2022, 2023, now it's 2025. Things are changing rapidly. There is a rise of AI overall, automation, personalization, hyper personalization, so on and so forth. So, like, how how a salesperson needs to adapt to it. Like, what do you think? I think people would have been coming to you, right, and asking the same questions. So like how do you guys or do you think like how it is evolving?
I think that's a really good question, Ashutosh. AI in sales is a very, very, important topic for all of the sales folks out there. You need to adapt to it as soon as possible, otherwise you will be way, way behind. For example, I always compare this like I have a philosophy. Like how the TV media is dying out sooner or later, and now people are shifting to OTTs. People are watching Netflix rather than your conventional Sony TV or sub TV. So that is what AI is doing. If you don't evolve yourself, you will be left behind. There's no other simple way to put it in words. You need to have your own personal tech stacks. You need to be aware of like there is a new tool coming up every other week, honestly. So you need to be super, super sure of your tech stack. You need to be aware what tool, your folks are using. And, for that, you also need to do conversations for that. But using AI in your day-to-day life, makes your job very easy. You need to be on top of things. And for founders, I think it makes your company size relatively easier. For example, I think your agent also does this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there could be a future where there are very like less SDRs or BDRs in a team, and you may only require only 5 or 10 good SDRs or BDRs to bring you those meetings and everything. But those need to be super smart. So I strongly believe that rather than having a lot of BDRs in your team, that work could be replaced by a single smart BDR. What do I mean when I say a smart BDR? A person who uses AI. There is a lot of data out there that supports this, that, like better numbers. I think you yourself selling AI agents would be a better person to answer this, but how it can help a person productivity, how can it help a founder save a lot of time, and
Mhm.
then I believe, you need to be super smart while using those tools and create those super smart SDRs and BDRs in the future.
No, makes sense. I think even my question to you was next question was to you was that we at Revrag, right? We are selling AI agents to revenue team, sales team, customer success team, and we are seeing a lot of collaboration happening between humans and AI, right?
Mhm.
And I was about to ask that, like, how do you see it? And you rightly mentioned, I think there will be less number of people handling large amount of outbound, inbound, and other stuff. We
Mhm.
will like there will be people who will be able to like scale their functions very easily with AI, right? Using a lot of AI agents, and AI agents are going to surround all the sellers left, right, center, right? So there will be like there are founders like Arjun who is building Docket AI, right?
Mhm.
Uh, a solutions engineer. There are people who are building AI SDR like us, right? There are people who are building a DevOps agent, so on and so forth. So like a lot of AI agents will cover them, and there will be smart BDR, as you were saying, right? Smart BDR will be running the whole show overall and reaching out to like volume numbers, right? And targeting that. I think
And
you aptly
just
said.
to add on to that point, I think the super personalization and the hyper personalization part that you mentioned, I have a philosophy here as well.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure who told me this, but it was very interesting. So hear me out. It goes like, sales is like dating. And if you are dating someone, let's say, let me give you an hypothetical situation. Let's imagine they are a guy and a girl who met on a Bumble or a Hinge. Now, and let's talk from the guy POV. So that person, North Star metric, or becomes that, how can I impress this girl? Now he will remember every single conversation that he did with her. Like maybe she likes candlelight dinners. She likes to party in an open space. She likes specific genre of musics. She likes specific set of movies, and that would always be conversation starters. And while their first date, a person doing this has much more higher rate of forming a relationship in comparison to a person who just shows up and like, hey, I could be a good fit. That makes sense. Now imagine the same to a person who comes to you and says that my software, my tool can help you in specific things. This is okay, but now that person also has used like some Like, do you know this tool called Lead
Lead
Labs by
labs.
Simar
Okay.
Sekhri, yeah. So what his tool does is like it helps you scan their entire LinkedIn, their post, writing style. So they know by using his tool, I know that Ashutosh would be a storyteller or Ashutosh could be a person who would like direct straight to the fact thing. He doesn't want me to deviate here and there. So I already know, like if I'm hopping on a meeting with Ashutosh, what kind of a person he is. Now I have better chances. Now let's also talk about personalized videos. For example, Gyan, for example. So Gyan.app, I know Preet. I can easily share personalized videos to just stay connected with you. For example, I hosted an event. I will send a video to you for super personalized, like, hey Ashutosh, it was really lovely to host you for that event. XYZ. You live in Bangalore. I can set some parameters like where do you live, your birth date, anything like that. And you are getting personalized videos for me. You're getting personalized GIFs from me, personalized memes from me, just based on your company. And the level of detail could be so much that, when you click on my link, I can even break you into the categories and show you your relevant competitors that uses my tool, and then you will be like shit scared, oh my god, they're already doing that. Let me use that. And imagine this, if I do this for hundreds of clients simultaneously, the kind of personalization, the kind of impact that it makes is absolutely freakishly out of the mind. Then imagine there is a normal person who is set on using, those Apollo and Lucia tools to set those emails and making them personalized. And there is this one guy who's using all this technology to make it sure even the tonality of the email should be in specific sense. Now just imagine the difference. So I think I 100% agree that there will be less SDRs and BDRs, but they need to be super smart. They need to be on top of everything. That is super crucial.
I think you're on point. And so what I was actually researching, right? So from 1880s, while what it used to happen, how the sales was, it was feet on street, right? MetLife and few other. MetLife was a very good example at that point, that there were agents who used to go uh, door to door to sell people, right? It was the first type of selling that happened, and mass selling that happened at that point, right? Slowly, gradually, print media came in, right? As in newspapers, advertisement happened on papers and all, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Then after that, television came in. Television was used, right? After that, internet came, and internet we saw like Salesforce and Zoom Info. Then there was like big data and ML type of things came, which was like Zoom Info and Apollo. Now there is AI, right? And what has happened during those years, if you see, is that it was full cycle seller, as in one guy who was selling, doing everything, right? As in, I used to prospect, I used to sell, I used to basically close everything. One guy doing all the thing, right? And then .com came, and basically it was saying that there is an SDR, there is an AE, both will do different things. But the targeting was getting better and better, better and better. Now we are in the era where hyper personalization, very, very detailed targeting is required, right? Because there will be noise as well that is getting created, right? Because earlier in 80s, 1880s, there were very few companies selling. Then the number of companies is also increasing. The emails that are getting bombarded with the outbound emails are also getting increased, right? So you need to break the noise. You need to understand where actually you can make a dent, and basically get it more and more personalized. And not just email will make sense, because uh, you'll not be able to like basically get into the eyes of the person whom you are selling. You need to basically orchestrate it well, so that you are able to basically make a dent or get through the eyes of that person. So I think getting very, very detailed, very, very buyer centric as well is very important.
And I think, Ashutosh, with using technology and with using AI, you also get to be a bit more creative. If you know so many data points about a specific person. For example, I was hosting a podcast a while ago with Vinayak, who's the founder of Byte Speed, and he mentioned, like Simar, like there was this one guy, like we were asking funny stories from everyone. This one was very cool. So would love to share that. So he mentioned that there was this one guy who was not getting any meetings and he was very demotivated. So he started started being very creative. Now he even sent, have you seen the series called The Office? So he
Yes.
was using, clips from the, not GIFs or memes, but clips from that specific episode. And, he used to change it using some tool and then use their company and make it a script for them. And that got such a high success rate that people have now started using that. He also used for his clients, specifically in the North India. He also started using Hindi jokes and words. And now, if you got an email, and you are very true in saying that, right now there are hundreds of companies fighting for your attention. You are fighting with so many people at a single point. And being the marketing head, I to fight with a lot of people, even cool brands and everyone, to get their attention. Somehow get even 5 seconds of someone attention. So it becomes super crucial for all of us to use hyper personalization to make sure that you have the best chances of getting someone attention. That's all. Getting someone attention and making someone curious about you. So that's the
Right.
most important part, I think. And I think AI is helping us achieve magnanimous skills. Also, I truly believe like this is just the start of it. We will, after 5 years, the entire landscape will be completely different.
No, no, absolutely. This is the first generation of AI, kind of, you can say, AI agents, right? So there will be a lot more happening, a lot more differences, more outcome driven of a sort, right? So as a young entrepreneur, Simar, like, how do you approach building a team majorly, right? Because you have built a team, you're a CMO, and how do you manage them, stay motivated? Like, how do you keep your team as well motivated and yourself as well, right? Uh, are there any habits or routines that you have developed during these years which
Mhm.
keep you on top of things, on top of your game?
I think building a team is super important in selecting the right people. We only believe, like business is secondary, it can be made. You just need people who you can trust with. Like, even if the skills are not that top notch, we will learn along the way. We will make sure you learn. And it has honestly worked out really good for us. We have invested our time and money in people who we believe that, they may not be a right fit right now in terms of their skill set, but they will be a very good and very strong value add into the team later on. And then we brought into the team and they grew with us, and now they are handling their own functions and managing their own sub teams as well. Although, like, we are very young, we are a team of around 10 to 15 people itself, but everyone is so interconnected. There is a lot of like, everyone is super aligned to the vision of building something big in education, of actually transforming the landscape. Now, everyone I talk to in my team, like even the people who are not from conventional sales background, for example, let's talk about the editor of the team or the media team, and let's say the interns who help in managing the student experience as well. Everyone is aligned to the vision of transforming the sales ecosystem in such a way. When I mean transforming the ecosystem, I mean educating the young audiences that there is a very good career opportunity out there which you should at least consider. I say, do not believe me. See the stories of the people who have made it. One of the mentors at Hive School, he's just 25, 26 years old, but he has made immense wealth for him, works anywhere from the freaking world. He goes to trips to, let's say, anywhere in the world. I remember I was having a call with him while he was in Thailand, and he was like, my work is absolutely chill. I'm here to spend, good 20, 25 days. So the ecosystem has evolved in such a way which gives you the permission, which gives you so many advantages that maybe different career opportunities doesn't bring. So first is invest in people who are aligned with your vision. That is super
Mhm.
important. Skills are secondary. Invest in people who are aligned with you. Second, I believe in managing the team, giving a lot of accountability to everyone. At Hive School, we strongly believe that if anyone is coming up, matter the level of experience, we give them independent verticals to head that you are responsible. So that automatically ensures that they are accountable. We ask them, like, you invested a lot of time in this project. What was the outcome? So now everyone is outcome driven in the company. They automatically invest and spend their time where they think the maximum outcome will be delivered, be it whatever their NPS or whatever their KPIs are. Everyone believes that, it should be outcome led and not process led. And
Mm.
lastly, I think what has been my routine, or like one habit that everyone at Hive School follow, is break all processes and go mad. So when I say this, I mean everyone is very jugadu. So jugadu is a
Mm.
person, who doesn't believe in processes and gets to work done in less than
Mm.
half the time required, and gets it done somehow. So that was the case with us, and I think it has really helped us in bringing high school to what it is right now. And yeah, looking forward to expanding as we speak.
Awesome, awesome. No, no, thank you so much for sharing all that, Simar. So we have a last round which we call it, we have recently added. We used to do it, but now again we are starting to do it.
Mhm.
So it's a rapid fire round. I'll ask you question. You have to, uh, if you can, like one word or like we'll try to do it quickly.
Okay, will try my best. Feels like coffee with Karan rapid fire.
Not exactly, but we will try to make it a little fun, right?
Sure.
Uh, so are you an early riser or a night owl?
I used to be an early riser, but the work has forced me to be a night owl.
Got it. Now, because you are targeting US people as well, right? Or
Sure.
like selling to US.
Not really. Like I myself doesn't do sales for the company, or doesn't do sales like we're in education business. But
Correct, 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 correct. And you are targeted in India. I'm really sorry. Yeah. So basically, the workload has led you to be a
extra
night owl. Okay. Extras. Okay. So if your company was a movie, what would be the title?
That's a tough one. Even while reading the script, you can cut this part out, but even while reading the script out, I was a little confused. I think it would not be a movie, Ashutosh. It would be a web series. Have you heard of TVF Pictures?
Yeah.
So everyone is like super aligned to that. So it would be Pictures.
Okay. Okay. What's the most unexpected talent or skill you have picked up as of?
Unexpected skill or talent. That's a tough one. Just give me a second.
How? Take your time.
Unexpected skill.
Which you thought like you will never be able to pick, but founder or entrepreneurship teaches everything.
I think handling finances was something I never picked up. I think I never thought I would be able to do it, but here I was.
Make perfect sense actually. One word to describe your sales style. I know you don't do sales, but as you said, everyone does sales, right? So yeah.
I think it would be consultative.
If you weren't in your current industry, what would you be doing?
I think if not sales education, I would be in education of some sorts, be it teaching to college kids, be it teaching to school kids, be it teaching to NGOs. I would be in education for sure.
No, let's say you don't have a education. Then what?
Then I think I would be running a cafe.
Nice. Okay. So next question is what's your go-to work playlist genre and any one or two songs?
So as I mentioned, for work you need a lot of high energy. So I come from a Punjabi family, so it's like all those Punjabi hits from, let's say, Diljit Dosanjh or whatever it is trending. So Punjabi aa
Okay.
gaye hoye, something on those lines. Very high energy, super packed
Okay.
songs.
And what would you be listening if you have, let's say, closed a very big deal? Let's say Simar was able to like close a big deal of some enterprise and
I think
everybody's
it would
celebrating.
be,
What would be that song?
I think it would be Goat by Diljit Dosanjh.
Very nice. Okay, very insightful session, Simar. Thank you so much. It was incredibly great to have you, right, from your entrepreneurship journey from your student life and your work at Hive School and your vision as well, right? Because what you are trying to do at Hive School is really needed in India because there are as you rightly said, there are not much school which focus on sales, right? And there is a need for good sellers everywhere, not just in India, overall, right? So I think you're doing a great job there. Thanks for sharing your story, your lessons. So to all our listeners, if they want to check your work out or be connected to you, where they can reach out to you.
Sure. So if you want to reach out to me personally, LinkedIn is the best platform. LinkedIn is the best platform. And if you want to check out Hive School, you can go to our website. We are also like we keep on having our cohorts. So yeah, do check us out on our website or our LinkedIn, whatever works.
Absolutely. So until next time, keep building, keep growing, keep chasing those dreams. Thanks tuning in. Bye bye.
Guys, bye bye.
Yeah.